Hi there. So in this video we're going to see how to use directives in your Angular 1 app. So basically in Angular 1 you'll find that your application is made up of some of the directives. So these are the directives that extend your application. Okay, so we'll take a look at each directive. So inside body tag I'm going to add the first directive named ng app. So let's use a div and then ng-app. Okay, so I'm not going to name it for now. You can name it if you want, and let me just close the div. Okay, now this ng app directive starts your Angular application. If this ng app is missing, then you cannot create your Angular application. No control will be rendered unless ng app exists in your div. Okay, so basically this ng app is root of your Angular application. So consider this as your root element. It will initialize the first when you call for your Angular library. Next is ng-init. So ng-init, and here you also specify any initial variable within your Angular 1 application. So this ng-init and anything that goes within your initial variable setup. Let's say I have some array, let's name it fruits, and here I'm going to add some name of fruits. So let's say name, and here I add apple, and then next thing we will add another one. So I'm gonna add banana, and then name equals to mango. Okay, so what we did here is we initialized array fruits with name to these 3 fruits. Okay, now next we have to do is within our application we have to call them so that they will appear. But let's take a look at this ng-init. So this is the directive that initializes any of your predefined Angular application data. Okay, so you want to put values into your app. Additionally, instead of giving user that option, you are predefining those values through ng-init directive. Next is your ng model. Okay, so for that let's take a look at this simple program. Let me enter fruit name. Okay, and here what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use input. Let's say type text, and then I'm gonna set ng-model. Okay, now here I'm gonna use name. Okay, and let's just close this. Okay, now what this ng model will do is this directive defines variable that is going to be immediately used after we initialize it. So in input type text we are going to input some value, and this ng model will use that value, and later you can simply declare it and use it. Okay, so something like this. You enter the fruit and then simply use name. Okay, because you already called for that name there. Okay, now the next thing, first time we created this array, if you want to reuse that in your program, then you can simply create a list. Let's say I have ordered list, inside this order list I have list of items, and I'm going to use ng-repeat directive that will simply call single fruit in our fruits array. Okay, and after that it will just call for declaration, and here we just mention fruits, and then we can simply call for our fruit dot name. Okay, and just make sure that you are closing this properly and also closing your links. Okay, so we have initialized our array with list of some names for fruits. Then we are using this with the help of ng-repeat. We are also using ng model to immediately initialize our variable that user inputs for the name of fruit. So I've shown you these 4 directives. First is ng-app, which is going to be the root of your application. Then ng-init for initializing some variables or predefined data. Then ng-model, where it explains the name that allows you to define model variable to be used immediately within your AngularJS app. And then ng-repeat, that will repeats HTML element to be reused from your initialized variables or arrays within ng-init. Okay, so apart from ng-init, you can reuse any other HTML element through ng-repeat. Okay, so let's check out this in HTML page so that we can see how it works. Okay, so as you can see, this shows a bit too close, so let me just add some space and name it fruit name. Okay, and let's put some space there. Okay, so apple, banana, mango, just like we initialized in ng-init. Then let's just enter some name here. Let me add raspberry, and as you can see, it will immediately output that because we used ng model name and then initialized it in the same line. Okay, so anything that goes within this text box will be outputted real time in next line. So you get the idea of how to use ng-app. Removing this will render your program totally useless, nothing will work. Then ng-init for your reusable elements, then ng-model to be used immediately for initializing your variables, then ng-repeat for using those initialized elements from your ng-init. Okay, so this was Angular 1's directives that we just learned.